Don't be frightened. We can definitely do this. Hi and welcome back. Today we'll be painting a row of buildings. I know that this looks a little intimidating, but if you just break down the buildings into simple shapes, you're able to come up with something like this on your sketch. Now we'll start with a light wash. The reason I'm having my sky so pale is because I want the buildings to be the focus of the painting. Now if you want a little bit more color in your sky, just add a little bit more paint. And we'll just go back and forth, dragging that color down until you reach the top of the buildings. While that's drying, I'm going to start working on my street. Now, since the two are opposite of each other, I don't have to worry about muddying my colors. Once those sections dry, and after your sidewalk section dries too, we're going to start on the buildings. And we're going to begin with a very light paint, working from the ends to the middle so that we can do more painting. Why we start with the lightest color is because with watercolor, you can only build from lightest to dark. First we start with highlights, then we build to midtones, and then we finally get to the shadow tones. Also, please forgive the shaky camera. I was bumping my leg a lot during this session. Once I'm pretty content where my midtones are with my buildings, I decided to add the details where the doors, the windows, and some of the signs and chimneys are going to be. You can use a small round brush here. I use a number 4, but you can also use a fine detail brush if you have one. And as you can see, we have more detailed windows and doors in the left side and less detail on the right side. This is to help us understand the depth of what's going on with the painting. And you can see I'm still adding a little bit more color to my buildings. I still find them a little bit too pale. I'll still add details to the sidewalk where the trees are going to be. I also work a little bit on the chimney. And then I begin my work on the windows. Now, the windows do not have to be perfect, especially with a painting this small. You just need to kind of hint at your eye that this is a window. So little dashes and maybe some window panes are all that you're going to need for your eyes to believe, oh, this is a window. I also put in the lampposts as well. And finally, I think we are done with the buildings. I've added a little bit more shadow and a little bit more detail on that purple building, and now we were going to move on to the trees. Trees can be simple as long as you build up on it. The trees here are palmetto trees, and so we're just going to give the basic shape using a very light green on that area. And then we will build and build with darker colors until we give it more volume. And the same goes with the other trees. Once we're done with the leaves, we're going to add the tree trunks. And actually up in the upper corner on the right hand side, I'm not liking how it looks, so I add another more layer of foliage to kind of cover that. And I remember that it's the shade is underneath it, so that's why we have a dark color there. And we are done. Taking a look at it, I can see that there has been some mistakes. Overall, I liked how the trees turned out, and I like the middle section a lot. I do have some issues with lampposts. That's because sometimes paints do smear out, and so you do your best to try to adjust and fix it. Also, I have a few favorite areas. I like the middle part a lot. I like the attention that we're seeing with the purple and pink building especially. And you can see that we have, it kind of gets less and less detail the further away the buildings are. That's one of the reasons why I like doing perspective paintings like this because it helps make your scene a little bit more dynamic. I highly recommend doing the perspective practices. You can do something very simple like with shapes, and then you can even build up to more complicated pieces like people. All right, thank you guys so much for watching and have a great time, and I'll see you next week.